I'll write your name. Hi. How's it going?
I'm okay. I gotta read the insults again.
You what?
Gotta read the insults.
Oh, I let Chip put up one. It's got Sudoku on the back. So he did that. No, Thursdays have a puzzle on the back. Hi, Cade. Some days have like coloring things on the back, which I didn't realize. I kept a couple of those so I could color them myself. Some of them have a joke. All kinds of things.
Can I take a picture of some of them?
Mm-hmm. Hello. How's it going? How's it going? Pretty good. It's going bad? Why is it so bad? Why? I hate to hear that. Let's see. Is my clock not right? 55. Okay, it is. It was weird earlier. Hi, Isaiah.
It was a long week, but we made it through.
We made it through. I thought it was pretty quick, but just like a lot was going on. Don't say I didn't warn ya. So it's gonna be forever. We're gonna go down in flames. I almost have next week planned.
Which ones have Sudoku?
It's not specific, like it's always a Thursday, but not every Thursday has Sudoku. They all have some kind of puzzle. Every Thursday has some kind of puzzle. So it might be like word search or a maze or something like that. Hello. Hey, did you get my email a minute ago?
Yeah, I got it. I'm trying to see the screen in Captain Galaxy.
It's supposed to be black.
Oh, it's not cool.
I mean, go for it. Well, I don't know if she can make the hat, but
That's good for her boxing.
okay. You do you. Oh, that's true. She could. Weirdo. Go for it if you want. I mean, since that one's got a good insult. What's the insult on that one?
The Elvish marked abortive reading hall.
That's pretty good. I'll probably leave it on the insult side. Abortive rooting hog. I like that. So what? Oh.
Give me 1 second before you start reading. I'm trying to watch something. I need like 3 minutes and 25 seconds.
We're not reading anyway.
We're reading immediately right now.
Yo.
Hello.
What are we doing today then?
We're doing an activity about setting, and we're doing it together.
Okay, well, I still need 3 minutes, 25 seconds.
We're gonna wait a couple minutes to see who will show up anyway.
How y'all guys been? Okay, that's one.
Randall says he's bad.
Jesus Christ, is everyone gonna have a crap mood? I'm gonna go have fun with my bro. We're gonna do bowling.
Go for it. Get a 0 for today.
Ooh, period. Tell him again, Miss McClellan. Tell him again.
Not now. Jesus Christ. At the end of the day, me and my brother gonna go bowling.
Ugh, I hate bowling.
Miss McClellan, I'm glad you said that because I hate bowling too.
Everybody ain't on bowling.
Well, it's not that I hate bowling. I don't like it because I'm not good at it. And also, I've just like never, because of my ADHD, I just never had the attention span to keep bowling. So I would always go to the arcade and just do that instead.
Yeah, like
I
I'll
like bowling.
bowling and just like eat the snacks.
Yeah, I just never could get down with it.
People hate bowling with me too because I don't care about winning. So I'll just like toss the ball and don't even look where it goes or like how many I knock down. And they're like, how do you do, like, that's chaotic. Why do you not care how many? I'm just like, I don't care about this game. I don't care about winning. Do I what?
And thank God I'm not inviting no one to bowling. Because me, I'm that guy who like to have
Oh, like the
fun.
bumper things? I have used the bumpers.
I use the bumpers and the little kid thing when I'm bowling. So like my ball can roll down the middle correctly. Cause I'm so bad at it.
That's the point of bowling. Doesn't matter if you're good or bad.
No, that
That's
is
the
exactly
win.
the point of bowling. You have to be good. What are you talking
Like,
about?
to win.
See, I'm bad at bowling, but I
The
have fun
point
because
of
I'm hanging out
bowling
with my
is
folks.
to hit all of the pins. That is the point of bowling. And if you can't hit all of the pins, you're bad at it. You're bad at it. If you hit some of the pins,
Easy.
you're okay at it. But if you don't hit none of the pins at all, you just keep getting gutter balls, you're bad at it. I don't care. That's the whole point of bowling.
No, the whole point of bowling is just having fun. If
No,
it's
it's
competitive,
not. No, it's not. There wouldn't be bowling leagues if it was just to have fun.
that's for competitive.
I got you there, didn't I? Yeah, there wouldn't be bowling leagues if the whole point of bowling was to have fun.
It is.
That's not fun if you blame to compete. That's not fun.
Yeah, but that's competing.
Yeah,
If for
but there
casual,
wouldn't
you
be bowling
just play the
league
bowl.
if the
Not
point of it was to have fun.
Competition is fun.
Competitions are not fun. They're very stressful and they can hurt your mental health.
Agreed.
So,
I
if you're
the least
good,
person.
Exactly. That is what I'm saying. It's not fun if you're not good.
that's the point. You make jokes, you crack on each other.
No,
My
not
brother
the
cracks on me.
LeBron, no, because
him.
everything is just revolving around what I just said in just different words. No, that's not the point of bowling. Oh my God. You know what? I'm not having this.
Agree to disagree, dang it.
That is not what that means. Oh my-
Also, like, not everybody finds competition fun, but also like Alyssa was just like, how do you say that you're not competitive, Cece, when you like you compete with her for the Kahoot?
I never said I wasn't competitive. I never said that.
I don't know about you, but for me, it's like with stuff I care about, I'm competitive. But if I don't care
Yeah.
about it in the first place, I'm not competitive at all. Like, I'm very competitive about trivia, but bowling,
Yeah.
pick them apart.
Bowling, useless. That is a useless skill. Trivia, 100%. Kahoot, 100%. I will try and beat anybody I can. It just depends if I care that day. That is what it is. But yes, I am competitive.
Let me get this ball rolling. Okay,
Unintended.
so if you go to Canvas, the latest thing is a setting activity, chapters 4 through 7, which we have gone through 8, but this is only dealing with chapters 4 through 7. I gave it to you in both PDF and Pages format, so you should be able to do whichever one is easier for you to edit. We're gonna do this together so that you don't have to like go back and search through the whole book trying to find answers. But this is what it looks like. This might actually be, no, okay, I'm good. This is part of a bigger bundle, so I was thinking it might be a lot of pages, but it's not. So there's several, like wherever you see the bold letters here, you're looking at a different part of the text. And if you look ahead a little bit, you can see that we're dealing with mood and like identifying words or phrases that convey a certain tone or a certain emotion and some symbolism as well. So this first one we're going to look at is from chapter 4, The kitchen alone with Maddie. So let me actually, JK, I thought it was a PDF. I'm gonna make this a little bigger. All right. So this is the phrase we're looking at to deal with these first three questions, or the first little passage. It was warm and bright in the kitchen. The sun slanted through the south window on Maddie's moving figure, on the cat dozing in a chair, and on the geraniums brought in from the doorway where Ethan had planted them in summer to make a garden for Maddie. So for this first one, and y'all can write your own answer to this, you don't need very much guidance, but you're just describing the scene in a word or two. And I'll give y'all a minute to do that, and then we'll move on to the next one. All right, so the second one is, what words in this passage convey a sense of life? And we can kind of do this one together. What words do you guys think convey a sense of life? Bright, warm.
Moving figure.
I would say that, yeah, moving figure. If it was a still figure, that would feel a lot more death-like. So geraniums, yeah, that's a good one. Flowers definitely convey a sense of life. They're literally alive and like thinking about them blooming. Yeah. All right, so Maddie is often associated with warm and bright settings like this one. How might that be symbolic? Because she is warm and bright and young and lovely, especially in the midst of Ethan's like his weirdness and just like this kind of depression of living in Starkfield where nothing ever happens, nothing is good. She's kind of the bright spot. I'll give y'all a minute to write down your answers to those three, and then we'll move on. You write down your answers? We're doing them together. It could be easier. Got a list of ex-lovers. They'll tell you I'm insane. I got a blank space, baby.
Okay. That song like brings up deep rooted memories. There was this point in time where I was on Movie Star Planet, and there was this like section on Movie Star Planet like where you could watch, it was like the movie theater, but it was really just YouTube. And everybody would like in the server would be there and they'd be watching the video, and there are like movie star edits of like songs, right? And that specific song just always came up with like Movie Star Planet edits, and it's always some girl with like freckles and the big eyes, and it's always some dude with like a quiff and like a fringe who she's fighting over, and somebody like perfectly remade the music video.
Oh my gosh. That music video, I feel like that would be so much fun to film because she gets to be so crazy and like just beat a car in with a what do you call it, golf club, and like stabbing the cake and like carving in a tree. Like it just looks a cake. She stabs a car. She stabs a cake and she beats a car up with a golf club. It looks like it'd be a lot of fun. All right, let's go into the next one, which there's only one for this, the kitchen without Xena. And the question that we're going to be answering is, what does this description of the setting reveal about Ethan's relationship to Xena and Maddie? So this is the one we're looking at. The kitchen was a poor place, not spruce and shining as Ethan's mother had kept it in his boyhood. But it was surprising what a home-like look the mere fact of Xena's absence gave it. Setting analysis, yeah.
Okay, I ain't gonna lie.
put both PDF and pages on there. If you click it, it'll give you links to both of them. So whichever one is easier for you to edit.
Hey, Mr. Cullen,
Uh-huh.
you know the scene remind me of? You ever went to your grandmother's house and you just asked to break something for you?
Yeah.
That scene remind me of just my grandmother making something for me, and the place always feel brighter.
That's interesting because I feel like the end of this sentence kind of shows the opposite of that. Like it's so home-like because she's not there. And I feel like what you're talking about, which I totally understand, is like your grandma's presence and like her caring for you and stuff. The kitchen was a poor place, not spruce and shining as Ethan's mother had kept it in his boyhood, but it was surprising what a home-like look the mere fact of Xena's absence gave it. So what does that tell us about his relationship with Xena or his relationship with Maddie?
This man need to be alone and enjoy life more.
He definitely needs to be not with Xena from the sounds of this passage. I can hold me like a magazine. We do this project, we're doing it right now in my AP class where you have to like choose a music video and do this analysis of it. And there's a video on YouTube of Blank Space that's specifically done like in this analytical style. And it's a really good project, but the video is so annoying to watch because it stops like every 2 seconds to talk about what's going on in the video. So like it would just be like she'll get half a word out and the guy will be like, so what we're seeing here in this video is that Taylor lives in a gigantic mansion and he'll talk for like 2 minutes before she gets the next line. It's really annoying. Okay, so this next one, we've got 2 questions here, and actually 2 different slides from the same setting. Let's just deal with one at a time. Okay, so the first one is dealing with this quote. Ethan passed by the graves on the knoll and turned his head to glance at one of the older headstones, which had interested him deeply as a boy because it bore his name. Sacred to the memory of Ethan Frome and Endurance, his wife, who dwelled together in peace for 50 years. So our question with this one is his name already being engraved on a headstone. What would that tell us symbolically about Ethan? Huh? He's fixing to die, or like he feels kind of dead already in some ways. Which like mood. All right, let's go ahead on to the second one with the graveyard, and I'll give y'all a minute to do both of them. This is like right after that last one. Ethan used to think that 50 years sounded like a long time to live together, but now it seemed to him that they might pass in a flash. Then, with a sudden dart of irony, he wondered if, when their time came, the same epitaph would be written over him and Xena. This epitaph of together for 50 years or whatever. So he's wondering if his own headstone might say the same or a similar thing to this other Ethan Frome that was his ancestor. Why do you think the author might have literally etched this idea in stone? And I'll give y'all a couple of minutes to fill those 2 out. Oh, oh, do 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 do. My plan for next week, by the way, is to read about half of chapter 9. Chapter 9 is very long, but it's the last chapter. So we'll read part of it on Monday, and then I'm out Tuesday. You guys have the win on Wednesday, and we'll finish it on Thursday. All right. All right, so we're going to move on to the kitchen with Maddie sewing. So I'm going to read this passage in just a second, but this is really similar to the first one that we looked at. We're going to look at which words reinforce the idea that Maddie is associated with warmth and light. When Ethan returned to the kitchen, Maddie had pushed up his chair to the stove and seated herself near the lamp with a bit of sewing. His hard day's work in the keen air made him feel at once lazy and light of mood, and he had a confused sense of being in another world where all was warmth and harmony and time could bring no change. Putting aside the fact that we know this passage is from the scene where he gets super weird and kisses her fabric, what words in here help to like solidify the idea that Maddie is associated with warmth and light? Lamp, stove. Yep, lazy and light of mood. Yeah, any of that stuff, like all the things that she makes him feel is all very like light and warm and happy. Lazy and light of mood, being in another world, warmth and harmony, all good stuff. Okay, so what part of this passage suggests that this scene with Maddie is not entirely real, and in what way isn't the scene reflective of reality? That's a really interesting question and something that you kind of have to think about what you think and give it some critical thought. Because I think when we read this passage, we don't really think about the fact that maybe things aren't in reality exactly like Ethan's picturing them in his head. So what things about this passage indicate that maybe reality is not exactly the way that he's seeing it? Bless you.
Hey, can you go back to the question?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Although, don't you have it in front of you though?
Oh, I do, and I'm writing down. Just the way it's set up is really weird.
Okay.
Also, you might. Nah, I can tough it out. Never mind.
How do you have it downloaded?
What, Cece?
I'm asking LeBron how he has it downloaded if it's set up weird. It looks the same unless you like have it downloaded weirdly.
Yeah, that's what I was confused about. Oh.
That song is stuck in my head now. Thanks. That's what I'm on.
The rest of what?
The song is stuck in my head. Blank Space by Taylor Swift.
Yeah, no, it's obviously in mine too. The other part's not on canvas. No. I'm going to go back through all of them at the end, though.
Wait, you're going back through all of them?
Yeah, I'm going to.
Oh, thank you. I didn't even know we had to fill out a worksheet. I thought we were just going through the PowerPoint and like reading it all.
No, we're filming out. Because we're not really talking about all of them. Some of it's just out of your own head,
Yeah. All right. Thank you for going over it again.
of course. Ah. All right. Let's move on. So this next one we're going to look at, you have a little bit of a chart here, indoors versus outdoors. So we're going to read the passage and y'all are going to write down the words that describe the outdoors and words that describe the indoors. Let's do that before we move on. Ethan knew that most young men made nothing at all of giving a pretty girl a kiss, and he remembered that the night before, when he had put his arm around Maddie, she had not resisted, but that had been out of doors under the open, irresponsible night. Now in the warm lamplit room, with all its ancient implications of conformity and order, she seemed infinitely farther away from him and more unapproachable. So which words in this describe night and night, not night versus day. Which words describe outdoors and which words describe indoors? I'll give you a hint. Right here is kind of where it where it transitions. Everything before that is outside. Everything after that is inside. Yes, Jenny is in class. So it's gonna be forever. Down in flames. Can you tell me when it's over? Get the highs, what the pain. Come on, it's direct love. Why am I singing this so high? Why am I doing it in such a high key? It's not good for my voice that way. All right, the next couple of questions, and this is from your own brain. What do we associate with the outside world and what do we associate with a home? And y'all, I would think y'all would have some really different answers for those. Don't sing it in that key, you idiot. That's better. Got a list of ex-lovers. They'll tell you I'm insane. That's gonna be in everyone's head now. All right, the last question for outdoors versus indoors. How does the contrast between the outdoors and the indoors reflect an internal struggle that Ethan is facing? And if we look back at this, you know, this first half about the outdoors, there's some pretty pleasant imagery there. The indoor stuff, I mean, it does say the warm lamplit room, but all the rest of the stuff, other than the word warm, all the rest of the stuff about that is more negative. So how does that reflect the struggle that he's going through? Mm-hmm. It opened it in Pages and what? Oh. There's PDF too, if that's helpful. I usually have a very hard time editing PDFs, but not everybody does. So I gave you both for this one. Okay, let's look ahead. Xena's room, a fight. The first question that we're going to look at is, what do we learn about the setting of Xena's room from this passage? So let's read it and then see. Ooh, that snake around a tree. Through the obscurity which hid Ethan and Xena's faces, their thoughts seemed to dart at each other like serpents shooting venom. Oh, here comes Alexis. Ethan was seized with horror of the scene and shame at his own share in it. It was as senseless and savage as a physical fight between two enemies in the darkness. I forgot what the question was. What do we learn about the setting of her room from this passage? And while y'all are writing your answers, I will explain to Alexis. This is on Canvas. We're doing this setting analysis of chapters 4 through 7 together, and I gave it to everybody in both PDF and Pages. So y'all are filling it out as we go. I am going to go back through all of it and give you a little bit more time. So if you start from here, you can go back when we go through it a second time and get your answers. I'll tell you, I'm insane. I got a blank space, baby, and I'll write your name.
Miss McClellan, you forgetting the best part of that song is the bridge. I don't even know.
Boys only want love if it's torture. Don't say I didn't warn ya. It's a good part. Okay, so this one is thinking beyond just the text in front of you. Why do you think it's significant that Ethan and Xena's faces are hidden from each other in this scene? So they can't look at each other while they're saying mean things, or maybe are they actually saying mean things? I mean, we know that they are in the context of the story that we've read, but I think that's really interesting that it says their thoughts seem to dart at each other like serpents shooting venom, like they're just thinking really ugly things about each other. But this fight, I kind of love this passage just because there's some really good imagery and comparisons. Like I like the serpent thing, and then it was as senseless and savage as a physical fight between two enemies in the darkness. Like their thoughts are having a physical fight. Love it. I'm just being silly. Love it. Mr. Nykirk's kid, I don't know if he still does this, but he definitely used to. He would always say, "Do you love it?" I can't remember what he said that to me about, but just the way he said it is so funny. Do you love it? I love it. It's not us. Okay. So this is going to be the last slide that we look at, and it is also Xena's room, but light versus dark. So the first question is, how powerful or not powerful is the candle that Ethan lights? So let's pay attention to the candle specifically. Ethan turned to the shelf above the chimney, groped for matches, and lit the one candle in the room. At first, its weak flame made no impression on the shadows. Then Xena's face stood grimly out against the uncurtained pane, which had turned from gray to black. So how powerful is it or is it not? Second question for this one, what effect does the light have on Xena and the setting? And that second sentence really is the one you'll look at for that. like I'm getting carpal tunnel syndrome. I don't know.
Miss McClellan, don't say that. Do not say that.
Why? My wrist hurts a lot from typing.
Miss McClellan, every time you say and do things that make you sound old, that means you are getting old. And you can't do that.
No.
Because then if you do that, then you will become old. You have to think young to stay young. That's how that works.
That's good advice.
And you're not
Yeah.
even like 30 yet. Come on, get it together. Miss McClellan.
Okay.
You're good.
I
You're
get. Oh, you know what? Do I have a stress ball? No, I thought I might. I don't know. Okay, it's fine. It's what book? Nah. Unless it belongs in here, does it? Did you get it from school? Where'd you get it from? Oh. You reading that? I just have it. I just look at it. Okay, last question. How might the light and its effects be symbolic? And that's another one where you kind of have to read beyond the text or think beyond the text. How might the light be symbolic? Down in plains. Down south.
I have a very specific question for like anybody. Wait, hold on.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
Never mind. I'll just. Oh, she's not even in here. Never. Well, okay. Randall, is Randall in the classroom?
Yeah.
Randall,
Yeah.
do you have Anique's number?
No.
Of course you don't. Okay, thank you.
Okay. We're gonna go back through it. If you have gotten them all and you're all set, just bear with us for a few minutes, but I want to make sure that everybody's had time to look at all the passages and go back through it and write your answers down. So we're going to go back to the first one, Alone with Maddie. That was endless. It was warm and bright in the kitchen. The sun slanted through the south window on Maddie's moving figure, on the cat dozing in a chair, and on the geraniums brought in from the doorway where Ethan had planted them in the summer to make a garden for Maddie. So the questions that y'all are answering, describe the mood of this scene in a word or two. Which words in the passage convey a sense of life? And we kind of talked through this one together. Warm, bright, moving figure could be one. Geraniums. I would even say maybe dozing. The cat dozing. Can't doze if you're dead, you know. Summer could be.
That is a true statement. I like that statement. You can't doze if you're dead.
It's true. And then the last question for this one is, Maddie's often associated with warm and bright settings like this one, and how might that be symbolic? You writing your answers down? They'll tell you I'm insane. I got a blank space, baby, and I'm watching. Boys only want love if it's torture. Don't say I didn't warn you. Don't say I didn't say I didn't. You don't see this? It's right in front of you. You'll write it in this one. We're going back through. So this is the first one. I'm gonna hang out on this one for a minute for y'all to get your answers. Look at your I'll keep the passage up on here, but you guys write your answers on your PDF or pages. I can't wait for the end of this book. Not because I'm tired of reading and I'm not, but the ending is really interesting, in my opinion. Hold on to that thought, because once we get through this, I'm going to ask y'all what you think is going to happen. We only got one chapter left. One chapter and also like an epilogue, because it goes back to the frame narrative where the engineer is talking. All right. The second set, the kitchen without Xena. The kitchen was a poor place, not spruce and shining as Ethan's mother had kept it in his boyhood, but it was surprising what a home-like look the mere fact of Xena's absence gave it. It's much more home-like without her there. So what does this description of the setting reveal about his relationship to Xena and possibly to Maddie? That's the only question that you have for this one. Don't say I didn't warn you. I'm gonna go down in flames. What did I do with that stress ball I had? I had one that I got here 2 years ago, and I remember because a kid threw it at me. It's in the shape
Who
of a
threw it
heart.
at you? Who threw it at you? It's
Bryce
okay.
Tomlins.
Oh, I was about to say it's okay. They're not here anymore. Yeah, they are. Okay.
No, I'm happy to call him out. There are actually pictures in the yearbook of it, I think.
Oh,
Or maybe
nice.
it was last year. It was last year.
So his crimes against you have been photographed, and nothing has been done yet. Okay.
Yeah, the photos are really funny because I look enraged.
Oh my goodness.
I look enraged and then like, how dare you? Okay, the graveyard. And there's two different slides for the graveyard. So with this first one, Ethan Frome's name is already engraved on a headstone. What might this tell us symbolically about Ethan? He passed by the graves on the knoll and turned his head to glance at one of the older headstones, which had interested him deeply as a boy because it bore his name. Sacred to the memory of Ethan Frome and Endurance, his wife, who dwelled together in peace for 50 years. I feel like that's phrased weirdly.
I got an answer.
Huh?
I have an answer.
Can you have an answer?
No, I have an answer for it.
Oh, go for it.
By cheating on his wife, he's already dug his own grave.
Ooh, James, I like
Okay, James,
it.
I see you. I see you.
Oh, that's a good one. He's
Yeah,
already
I'm
dug his
smart.
own grave. I want to talk about that more. We'll talk about that more after we go back through this. Okay, the second graveyard one, he considers the possibility that his own headstone might read just like his ancestors, Ethan Frome the first. Why might the author have literally etched this idea in stone? Like, why would Edith Wharton, who wrote the book, have specifically said that his ancestor, like, why does this exist? Ethan used to think that 50 years sounded like a long time to live together, but now it seemed to him that they might pass in a flash. Then with a sudden dart of irony, he wondered if, when their time came, the same epitaph would be written over him and Xena, together for 50 years in peace or whatever. Yeah. He's wondering if that'll be on his and Xena's graves. Boys only want love if it's
The route Ethan going, that ain't happening.
We'll see. Hold on to that thought, because once we get through this, I'm going to ask you guys what you think is going to happen in the last chapter. Okay, the kitchen with Maddie sewing. The first question is, again, this is similar to the first one. Which words reinforce the idea that Maddie is associated with warmth and light. And you can just put down the words or passages, phrases. And then which part of this passage suggests that what's going on with Maddie is not entirely real or isn't reflective of how reality actually is. Yeah, didn't mean to do that. When Ethan returned to the kitchen, Maddie had pushed up his chair to the stove and seated herself near the lamp with a bit of sewing. His hard day's work in the keen air made him feel at once lazy and light of mood, and he had a confused sense of being in another world where all was warmth and harmony and time could bring no change. So which words or phrases reinforce the idea that Maddie is associated with warmth and light? And what about this passage shows us that reality might not be exactly the way Ethan is seeing it? I like that little thimble behind it. Although I wonder if that's what her sewing looked like, because that's so 90s looking to me. Okay. Outdoors versus indoors. You have this little chart, words that describe the outdoors on one side, words that describe the indoors on the other. And then also go ahead and think about this last question. How does the contrast between the outdoors and indoors reflect an internal struggle that Ethan is facing? Ethan knew that most young men made nothing at all of giving a pretty girl a kiss, and he remembered that the night before when he put his arm about Maddie, she had not resisted. But that had been out of doors, under the open, irresponsible night. Now in the warm lamplit room with all its ancient implications of conformity and order, she seemed infinitely farther away from him and more unapproachable. So all the stuff before now, that's all outdoor stuff. Now and after that, that's all indoor stuff. So what words from each describe those places? And how does the contrast reflect his internal struggle? Don't say I didn't warn you. I feel like this is really clever and like hard to write. It's just hard to like when you're writing fiction, it's hard to just like think of stuff like that off the top of your head, like this comparison and like how an external thing reflects his internal struggle. It's very difficult. And then also, these are kind of your own ideas here. What do we associate with the outside world and what do we associate with a home? So it might not necessarily be the same things that Ethan is associating with outdoors and indoors. Oh, my camera's frozen. Okay, I'm good. Okay, Xena's room, a fight. We're going to look at what do we learn about the setting from this passage and why do you think it's significant in this passage that their faces are hidden from each other? Through the obscurity which hid Ethan and Xena's faces, their thoughts seemed to dart at each other like serpents shooting venom. Ethan was seized with horror of the scene and shame at his own share in it. It was as senseless and savage as a physical fight between two enemies in the dark. Rough. It's rough. Oh, we've only got 5 minutes left of class. Oh my gosh. You know what? I didn't put the submit thing on Frick. I'm glad you said that. Online file uploads. Save. Sorry about that. Okay, last one, light versus dark. How powerful or not powerful is the candle that Ethan lights? What effect does the light have on Xena and the setting? And how might the light and its effects be symbolic? Not that. This. Ethan turned to the shelf above the chimney, groped for matches, and lit the one candle in the room. At first, its weak flame made no impression on the shadows. Then Xena's face stood grimly out against the uncurtained pane, which had turned from gray to black. Did you solve it? I don't know how to do them. I've never done one. My grandma loved to do Sudoku. Okay, we've only got about 4 minutes left. So I want y'all to finish that up and get it turned in. But while people are finishing their last questions, what do you guys think is going to happen in this last chapter? Alyssa says they're going to die.
Miss McClellan,
Yes.
I've got to email you mine because I couldn't type in the document. So I just did it in a Google Doc.
Okay, that's fine. Alyssa says they're going to die. They being Ethan and Maddie and Xena. Probably not Xena. Yeah, that's fair. Randall, you said you think he's gonna get set up or he's gonna get played. Okay. Xena's the wife. Uh-huh. Ooh, I love that. Randall said he bets Xena is going to get better and not tell anybody that she's better, and then it's going to like catch Ethan and Maddie in the act. Ethan wants to run away with Maddie. Now, where we left it yesterday, he felt like he couldn't because he didn't have any money, and then he like went back and forth because he was gonna he was gonna ask the Hales for money, and then he was like, no, they're too nice, I can't take advantage of them like that.
It's just already going so downhill.
I hope you know what, I'm gonna write this down because I want to come back with something that you just said, but after we read it.
I think I don't
Go
know.
ahead.
Like, I don't know. I feel like I don't know because I don't even know how to like. I don't know because I just looked at the ending and it doesn't make any sense to me. So I genuinely don't know.
Well, you kind of do know if you looked at.
No, but I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like I don't know.
Like what happened?
But what I'm reading, it looks like Xena might.
Don't spoil anything. Don't spoil anything.
I feel like Xena's gonna disappear. She has to die. She has to die. There's no way.
Okay.
Well, I'm hoping for two things: is either Ethan leaves or Xena dies from her illness. Either or, I'll be happy.
I feel like Xena
She
might
is.
die.
She's only 35, but she is like old and she's like decrepit. Her body feels old. She like wears false teeth.
Dentures. They're just trying to make Xena look awful. I don't know.
Oh.
That's how it's been sounding. Like it doesn't sound like it's gonna work out for them at all.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it's gonna go terribly wrong. I don't know if they're gonna die exactly.
We'll see. I can't wait to finish it. All right. Gotta let you guys go.
Are we reading this on Monday?
We'll read half of chapter 9 on Monday and then we'll finish it on Thursday. Chapter 9 is really long, so
Okay.
I can't tell you.